Good evening then, and very warm welcome to Cougar Park, Keighley, for this eventually played game against Huddersfield, originally scheduled for the 26th of December, Boxing Day, and in fact having to be delayed because of frost, water, and looking at the field tonight, still a lot of that water in evidence. Both teams vying for promotion. It's a key fixture tonight, and quickly through the players for both sides. For Keighley first, Jeff Butterfield at full-back, three-quarters Wayne Race, Carlton Farrell, Phil Stevenson and John Walker, without Mark Milner and Nick Pinkney, both injured last week at Backley. The half-backs Martin Wood and Andy Ayres, Brendan Hill, Jason Ramshaw, Ian Gately, Steve Hall, Kevin Marr and Mark Brook-Cowden at loose forward for Keighley. The substitutes for Keighley, 14 is Andy Stevenson and 15 Joe Berry. And for Huddersfield, the full-back Jason Lawrence, three-quarters Ian Thomas, Damien Pickles, Phil Halliwell and Chris Chapman. The half-backs Brad Davis and Neil Flanagan, and the front row David King, Steve Barnett and Andy Pusell. The second row Gary Senior and Martin Maders, and at loose forward Greg Pearce. The two substitutes for Huddersfield, Brian Blacker and Joe Nadoli. The referee tonight, Dave Atkin from Hull, he's in the centre of the field at the moment, and the two touch judges, Peter Walton from Castleford and Jim Reddy from Leeds. Very much a key game tonight, Dal, as we've said. It's going to be very important for both sides, is this. How do you see it going on this very heavy pitch?
Certainly, I think it'll be a forwards game, John, judging by the pitch, and also with Keighley having both centres, last Sunday's centres out injured, in Mark Milner missing and Nick Pinkney. I think Keighley themselves will want it in the forwards, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we do get it out a little bit wide sometimes and just stretch this Huddersfield defence.
Mr Atkin then just checking with his touch judges. Keighley having won the toss and elected to play up the hill, and it's Phil Halliwell gets the play underway for Huddersfield, and Kevin Marr getting all the way back to the 20-metre line before being tackled. Halliwell in there to assist at that tackle. Ramshaw, acting half-back, gets the ball onto Hall. Hall playing in the second row. He was at number 8 on Sunday at Backley. He's in the second row, his more accustomed position tonight, as Keighley make their way back towards that halfway line. And a holding down in the tackle there, Mr Atkins straight onto it. Phil Halliwell appeals to the Hull referee, getting no change. The referees have been reminded once more this last week about the holding down and about scrummaging as well. Martin Wood then puts that ball safely into touch, 5 metres inside the Huddersfield half. Ian Gately driving up the hill. The referee penalises Huddersfield for not getting back the 10, and I think Dal, you spotted that being well offside.
Yeah, the touch judge kept his flag up like he has now. He's now just dropped it from the original kick. He kept it up all the time, so they don't need to look across here that they're offside.
And in fact, Johnny Walker being called in already to attempt to kick at goal. This kick some 30 metres out in a straight line from the try line, so with the angles we're looking somewhere in the order of maybe 40-45 metres. It's an angle kick. It's about 10 or 11 metres in from touch. John Walker then, he's got the difficult task, as we said, set it up. Certainly should be a big chase from Keighley here, just in case it goes wide. It's got the distance, but it didn't in fact hit the goalposts. Came to this left hand side, but a good chase by Keighley, but Mr Atkin again penalising for that laying on, not releasing the tackle. Steve Hall, the man just getting the tap from the referee.
It's all right, Mr Atkin penalising these for laying on early doors. I think they might have been better letting them play the ball, letting them run on. And then if they start laying on after 5 or 6 minutes, then penalise. No good stepping up. Let the players settle down. It's a big game for them. Let them have the ball. Let them settle down. Let them have it in the hands. Let them get the tackling underway.
10 metres then from the halfway line as Andy Pousil takes that ball right in the centre of the field. This is the other prop, Dave King, looking for that halfway line but being dragged down there. Combination of Kevin Marr and Steve Hall. And this time it's Martin Maders trying to get into the Keighley half of the field but being picked up and physically carried back into his own half. And the chip going through there for the chase. It's a good chip. Jeff Butterfield just letting that ball bounce in some of the firmer ground on the field. Wayne Race trying to duck underneath the tackle of Dave King there, but not able to do so. Ramshaw onto Ayres. Ayres brings on Stevenson. Stevenson playing in the centre this evening in the second row on Sunday. This shows the versatility of this young fellow as Ramshaw gets the ball from Kevin Marr in the tackle, and Marr at acting half. On to Steve Hall, look to shade forward as Hall busts through into the Huddersfield half of the field, being tackled towards his touchline side. Good cover tackling there by Huddersfield. The touch just shouting for them to get away, but the ball going for Martin Wood, and Martin Wood skews that one. Oh, and the wind bounces the ball back into play. And the referee pulling John Walker up for offside.
Yeah, in front of the kicker there, John, so he's offside.
But certainly a good kick there by Martin Wood, going up in the air. Looked for a moment as though it was going to go straight out on the full, but in fact it went out on the rebound from John Walker, but he was in an offside position. Huddersfield then coming down towards the halfway line. The referee pointing at the line as he polices the play of the ball. Now getting back almost straight back in line with that play of the ball. And King coming through the centre, releases the ball, but well tackled by Keighley. In fact, the ball looked as though it was going to be spilled forward, but Andy Ayres there intercepting the ball as Gately gets the ball out now to Mark Rookcowden. Rookcowden fighting his way over the halfway line, brought to the ground, wrestled to the ground by Steve Barnett and Damien Pickles just inside the Huddersfield half. Ian Gately taking that ball into the centre of the field and driving through the Huddersfield defenders, but can't get away from the tackling of Gary Senior. And it's Ramshaw this time. Jeff Butterfield joins the line. Ramshaw acting half, switches play to Martin Wood. Wood comes across the field, he's got Marr with him. Oh, and the ball being spilled and regathered by Huddersfield. That's a relief for Huddersfield. There was a certain amount of pressure there. Kevin Marr spilling that ball though, and just taking that pressure off the Huddersfield defence. King getting up eventually from the tackle, complaining to the touch judge he was being laid on. And it's King again with the ball, standing back in no man's land really there. Ian Thomas, the speed man for Huddersfield, tackled just short of the halfway line. The ball getting out there, and it's the hooker Steve Barnett almost getting away, and in fact passed the ball to John Walker. I was looking at something else that was happening just a little bit behind play there, missed that ball coming out as Mark Rookcowden now for Keighley comes into the Huddersfield half. Ayres feeding Hall half through the gap, but recovered there by the Huddersfield defenders. No markers present. Hall goes forward on his own into that Huddersfield 20-metre area. Ramshaw, the crowd's getting behind Keighley here. On through the hands of Ayres. Martin Wood chips the ball through for the chase. On that ball handed back over the try line is, in fact, it's a drop out from under the post, but the ball handed back there, trying to knock the ball dead, and real panic measures there in the Huddersfield defence. So the dropout then coming from underneath those Huddersfield posts. Steve Hall steadies it, brings on Kevin Marr. Kevin Marr comes back into the centre of the field. Gately driving in straight into the arms of King, but King doesn't tackle. He tries to knock the big fella aside as Ramshaw feeds Brendan Hill. Brendan Hill going up the touchline side, but being driven towards that touchline on the Huddersfield 10-metre line. And it's Ramshaw now out to Ayres. Ayres feeds Wood. Wood delays, offloads, and it's Ayres back there picking up the pieces. Was Andy Ayres there from that Martin Wood pass? And it's Jason Ramshaw. Martin Wood chips the ball. It's going to stick. It isn't. In fact, a knock on there by Huddersfield. I thought that ball there was just going to stick in the mud, and it did in fact, and it deceived the Huddersfield player. I thought perhaps Dadley may well have just got that with his foot, but the referee said his hand was there as well.
Looked like his foot from up here, John, but the referee's a lot closer than us. Bit of a harsh decision. Out
then to Wood from that scrum. Wood delays a pass. Carlton Farrell, is he in? No, he's not in. That's a good tackle there by Huddersfield defender. Kevin Marr feeds onto Steve Hall. Hall's in. Lovely try there by Steve Hall. Carlton Farrell injured around the ankle, but that was a good try there by Steve. He'd really got to still score it, hadn't it? But it was good defence initially by Huddersfield, stopping Carlton Farrell.
Excellent defence to stop Carlton. They had a gap. They closed it up on him, took him out. Good tackle. But then Steve Hall will wait that they hadn't come round the blind fast enough. And he was hitting man for man. And he had the power and the speed and the weight to take him over.
That first try then coming 9.5 minutes into the game, whilst the referee just stops the clock. Waiting for the sand boy, bringing the sand on as Carlton Farrell attended to up this touchline side.
Come out now with ball, it's stuck under dark. Ball out now. You see it? Left that, see it? Stuck under,
So then John Walker, the clock eventually restarted again now as the referee happy that the treatment to Carlton Farrell has completed, and John Walker then some 8 or 9 metres in from touch, kicking towards the Lorcombe Lane end of Cougar Park.
This is Lorcombe, I think it now on the drive now.
That's looking good. It's superb. Super kick there by Johnny Walker. 8 metres in from touch, a difficult angle, but he got the 2 extras to the Stevie Hall try.
Johnny Walker classic. He lives in the stars.
Restart then as Huddersfield get the ball straight down the arms of Carlton Farrell. Carlton busting up the centre of the 12-metre line in from touch, 30 out from his own line. Brendan Hill goes for that halfway line. 4 Huddersfield players there around him to effect that tackle as Ayres gets the ball onto Wood, feeds onto Mark Brook-Cowden. Just inside the Huddersfield half of the field as Brook-Cowden plays the ball to Jason Ramshaw. Andy Ayres going on, Brad Davis sniffing in the line there, looking for that interception. And again the big fella turns the shoulder on Andy Pusil, and the collision of the giants there. Martin Wood takes that ball in a very difficult position. Referees telling the players they're all offside. Martin Wood's there, but puts his players onside. But Huddersfield sweep up. The sweep up done by Neil Flanagan.
Flanagan, wasn't it, as well?
Don't like this kicking, does it?
Jason Lawrence, the Huddersfield fullback, already exposed for, it would appear, his dislike of the ball being kicked through or up.
Up the line!
And Huddersfield now in the shape of Martin Maiders, working the way back to the halfway line, but it's the last one coming up. Mr. Atkin has his arms in the air as the ball goes back there for the kick and chase downfield. John Walker taking the ball, deciding not to let it go through to fullback Jeff Butterfield and driving back to within 10 of the halfway. Ayres feeds Wayne Race. Wayne Race gets a 5 from the halfway before falling in that centre sludge. Phil Stevenson having to bend his back there. Certainly not the best of passes to Mark Brooke-Cowden. And it's Kevin Marr going up that touchline side, but again the Huddersfield defence up to the task on that side of the field. Ramshaw gets the ball out. Brooke-Cowden 30 metres from the Huddersfield line. The last tackle coming up. The tackle's moving swift and fast as Wood tries to chip over that, but the Bobby was in the line there. And a good tackle there by Carlton Farrell on Damien Pickles. And it's scrum half Flanagan dithering there as he was looking for the way through. There was no way through for him. And Pusil led with the elbow there, but saw the head of Keighley fly back, getting away with it on that occasion as King goes through the centre of the field. Again throws the ball away, but a penalty against Keighley. A penalty against Keighley initially, and the referee now pulling King out. I think Dudley's just telling him, I'll blow the whistle, I'll do the referee and you get on with playing.
Yeah, that's what he's telling him, John. Yeah, something went on and he's objected to it, but the referee's quite correct. He's made the decision. He's given it to Huddersfield. What does he want to open his mouth for?
Well, a penalty there for, I presume, dragging away, pulling the player away.
Knocking him without the ball. Looked to me like the Huddersfield man were trying to pass, and it's penalised the Keighley man for knocking the man out of the way without the ball. That's where the ball went to ground.
We'll wait and see. Always difficult to understand those decisions as Pickles decides, I beg your pardon, loose forward Gary Pearce decides to run that ball instead of kick for touch, attempting to catch the Keighley defence unawares, and to a certain degree he did just that. Flanagan onto King, round back to Flanagan again, bringing on the full-back Lawrence, but Lawrence wrapped up in the tackle there. Throw the elbow back there at Mark Brooke-Cowden as he got up, but again it went unnoticed, and there goes the number 10 Pusil, tackled by Keighley.
Keighley's having a go.
10 metres then from the Keighley line. Barnett, the acting half-back, gets the ball onto Flanagan. Flanagan runs round with the hooker, with a colleague, and the ball back now to Flanagan. He's tackled though, 10 metres from the line. It's the last tackle coming up for Huddersfield. 10 metres from the Keighley line as Davis gets the ball out, and it's a chase through. John Walker clearing the ball out of the ground, and I think again doing the right thing there, Darrell.
Certainly was, John. Yes, you know, let's steady the game down now. Let's have a drop out under sticks, waste a bit of time. The ball's to come on up park. Good thinking. Beep's gone on 18.
Martin Wood then gets the ball up to the halfway line as Huddersfield now bring it back down this slope.
You want to wait, John? You want to wait a minute, otherwise you'll have to run before half time.
Barnett then getting that ball away to Martin Maiders, and it's inside the Keighley 30 area as Kay bursts through that first tackle, offloads there to Halliwell on the far side, but Halliwell brought to ground some 10 metres from the Keighley line. And really what was going on there, it looked a bit of shepherding, but in fact the man with the ball just stood still. And it's a chase now. Thomas chasing the ball, and in fact loses the ball. Over the line does Thomas. Way line then as Brendan Hill taken way up top there. Absolutely disgraceful. Almost took the teeth out that have already gone for the second time. And just why those players want to stand around like that, I don't really know. But certainly a vicious tackle to the head there, Darrell.
It was certainly high enough, John, yes. Well, I'll wait and see what Mr. Atkin decides now. If anything, he's calling somebody out, yes. Calling right man anyway. Huddersfield number 10.
Well, certainly this guy, Andy Pusil, he had a go at Ian Keighley earlier on when he led with the elbow just below us. And again, right below us, he's had a crack at Brendan Hill's head. Certainly an extremely good player is Andy Pusil. He's a workhorse as far as the Huddersfield pack's concerned, but I think the work needs redirecting after that. And in fact Carlton Farrell also been told that. I think possibly because he went in. And I think the referee just telling both players quite clearly, anything else like that and you'll go.
Good signal there from the referee. It was punching and it was round the head. He indicated it was punching him round the head.
Good kick then there, putting Keighley back onto the Huddersfield 20-metre line with this tap restart to take place just there. Keighley driving in, bursting through the first tackle, 10 metres from that Huddersfield line. Ramshaw acting half-back. Switching across, Stevie Hall going in, and again Pusil attacks the head.
There's a gap down this side, man injured here.
And it's Hall now. Ramshaw switches play to Ayres. Ayres finds Carlton Farrell, but the Huddersfield defence stacked out here. And there's all sorts flying around in that tackle. But it's still on the same mark where Ian Keighley was tackled, as Ayres now takes the ball back into Ramshaw. Ramshaw slips the ball there to Brendan Hill, and Brendan Hill caught another one round the head there, accidentally this time, as Ayres sweeps across the field. Martin Wood, oh, long ball out there. His interception could well have been on, as it is. Keighley regathered in the shape of Wayne Race on that far side, and certainly a dangerous ball going out there when the Huddersfield defence were coming up. Mark Brook-Cowden. Wayne Race pumps the ball in the air. It's the last tackle. Well taken there by the Huddersfield defender.
Come on, move on.
And certainly a lot of panic going on in that Huddersfield defence at the moment, judging by the way that ball was passed right across the face of the post. 15 metres out from the Huddersfield line then, as they come down this slope into the heavy area in the centre of the field. Good 10-metre dash there, and in fact penalised for laying on.
No, pulling his head guard, I think. Pulling his head guard.
Pulling the head guard, in fact the indication given there by the referee. No doubt similar to holding the player down. And that's a good touch finder right on the halfway line. We've got 22 minutes on the running clock in this half. The scoreline reading, Keighley 6, Huddersfield 0, as Pusil gets into the Keighley half of the field. Moving across the field into King busting his way, or trying to bust his way through those tackles. A tackle in possession, that's number 11 there, Gary Senior taking play, and again the ball released onto King. King gets a good ball out to the far side. A bad tackle attempt there by Keighley, but Huddersfield literally throwing that ball almost anywhere. Stevenson back in position to take the possession. Carlton Farrell. This really is where, no disrespect to Carlton Farrell, because he of course fast as his legs will carry him, but I think this really is the centre positions where Keighley may just be found a little bit lacking in pace tonight. Missed Nick Pinkney in that position of Mark Milner.
Get out, Jeff!
Ramshaw on to Kevin Marr. Marr strides through the first tackle, throws the ball out almost anywhere, and that ball kicked into touch.
Come off Huddersfield.
Kicked into touch there by Ian Thomas, but A semi-dodgy offload by Kevin Marr, just behind John Walker, who had slightly overrun the position. Ball in and out to Keighley, airs on to Wood. Wood finds Butterfield, skips through the first tackle there of the fullback, Jason Lawrence. And Wood feeds the short side. Mark Brook-Cowden offloads to Ayres. Ayres, the gap was almost there for him, but he came back into where the Huddersfield defenders were coming. Johnny Walker taking the drive in, looking to set the position up for the next move. 22 metres out from the Huddersfield post, almost in front of them as Ramshaw out to Gately. Gately through the heavy gear in the centre of the park. Stevenson on the end of that pass into the Huddersfield 20-metre area. Wayne Race now taking play in. Knock on, says the referee, but it certainly was a knock on. But I mean, the way this guy Ward tackled, King tackled there, it was round Wayne Race's head, wasn't he?
Certainly was, John. Yeah, I think if Keith had got a penalty, nobody'd have argued.
As it is, it's a scrum formed and fed by Huddersfield. And Huddersfield still inside their own 20-metre areas. They try to come out there in the shape of the substitute, Brian Blacker.
Come on, Brendan West!
Gary Senior gets up and plays the ball onto Blacker. Blacker onto Flanagan. And Steve Hall just puts the big fella King down to the ground. Almost through that gap there in the centre, but it closed almost as quickly as it opened as Brook-Cowden and Hall did the tackling. And that's Davis kicking the ball downfield, and it's Butterfield on the other end of it. Tackled by the kicker there, some 30 metres out from the Keighley line. And it's Kevin Marr now through the centre of the park. He's got Jason Ramshaw waiting for that ball at acting half. Gets up, plays it. And a penalty there for not playing the ball correctly. He didn't get off his feet, onto his feet. He was still on his knees when he played the ball.
This is where the directive from Rugby League goes wrong. Kevin Marr was being held there. He said he rolled it between his legs, but he's also been hindered by the Huddersfield players. Now it's either one or the other. You know, either they're going to get up and they're going to slow the game down to play the ball, or you want them to play it quickly. It's got to be one or other.
That kick then into touch just inside the Keighley 20-metre area as Huddersfield now coming down, raiding the Cougar line, 10 metres from that Keighley line. Ball coming across the field, Flanagan onto Pusey. Blacker at acting half-back, brings the ball on. Brad Davis, in fact, there, almost through the gap in front of the Keighley post. It's tackling time indeed for Keighley now as they move the ball out. Lawrence decided not to bring the ball to the right-hand side, instead taking it back in. There's a gap there just filled by Ian Gately as Flanagan now moving the ball out. They have the numbers. Oh, and they've lost the ball. They certainly had the numbers there at Huddersfield, Darrell. They had the numbers, and they lost the ball in a very, very key position.
Certainly had, John. I think there were too many men there. They didn't know what to do. Any one of 2 or 3 could have scored, and they couldn't make their mind up who were going to score. In the end, nobody did.
Stevenson then coming back out from his own try line, clears the 10-metre line before being tackled. Gately skipping through the first attempted tackle by, I think it probably was Blacker. Kevin Marr in search of the halfway line, but has to settle 8 metres short. Gets up, plays the ball. Ramshaw onto Hall. Hall skips his way into the Huddersfield half of the field. The last tackle comes up as the referee has his arm in the air. Ramshaw onto Wood. Wood puts the ball for the chase up this touchline side. Carlton Farrell's doing the chasing, and in fact he's been tackled in his own in-goal area. Well, I find that difficult because I would be certain, in fact, I'd be absolutely certain there that Carlton Farrell was behind that kicker.
Well, I thought so as well, John, but if the referee said he was in front of the kicker when the kick was made, he was in front.
Blacker then gets that ball away, and it's Pusil. Ball to Blacker, onto Flanagan, onto King. I think this fella King will die in the second half. I can't see him coming up the hill in the second half as much as he's gone down it in the first half, Daryl.
No, I can't really, John, but I've seen King play at York for Huddersfield and also at home to Workington, and this is the best game he's had so far.
And that's certainly not the best of passes out there to the wingman. So lethargic, it was aimless, it wasn't even going to anybody. Nobody can blame Chris Chapman, the Huddersfield number 5, for not getting that ball, but just a little bit of a discussion going on the touchline side there. In fact, I'm not really sure what the touch judge was talking to the referee about there, but obviously something. That this is Butterfield, 22 metres out. Nice ball there by Martin Wood to Steve Hall, but the second row are not able to get away from the grasp of those tacklers as Ayres now. Carlton fouled, almost taking that ball, but just not able to. And Huddersfield once more, they've got the pressure on their own try line, relieved by that mistake by Keighley. 30 minutes on the clock. 6 points to 0 the score line in Keighley's favour. And Huddersfield, Blacker getting the ball out there to King. They're certainly asking a lot of this big fella, this big number 8 of Huddersfield. He's doing a lot of the driving in, but he can offload the ball in the tackle as well. Slips a nice ball out to his left. Eight metres from the halfway line. Blacker puts the ball back. And the kick coming now, in search of that touch line. Gets it. In fact, a good kick. It could have so easily drifted out on the full, but it actually went into touch about a foot or so inside the touchline edge. Scrum forming then 10 metres in from that touch, some 15 metres from the Keighley line, and it's Keighley's head and feed. Skipping away from the base of the scrum, coming through the centre of the field. Oh, and he just hadn't got the support there with him being laid all over. The referee should really penalise. He has done eventually. But certainly, Jason, I beg your pardon, it was Chris Chapman making an absolute meal of that. And, you know, if he gets away with it, Dudley gets away with it. But he certainly gave his defence the chance to get way back into a position to defend that play the ball had it been taken quickly.
Yeah, we're getting about these sin bins inside the 20. That'd have been a sin bin offence. You know, I mean, what's the difference there? You know, I mean, all right, he's halfway down the park, but there was nobody between him and the line.
Gately then getting to his feet. Ayres onto Hall. Hall going through the centre, half brought down. Tackle at the bottom and tackle at the top half just slipping slightly. Hall not being able to get to his feet, certainly being held back by the foot there by the number 12 Martin Maders, and that's a good kick again by Ayres. Oh, and that's a mistake. Oh dear me.
No.
And the ref, that surely was touched by the Huddersfield. I mean, our angle's bad, but they kicked it back or scooped it back. In fact, it must have been a similar sort of kick there that John Walker had to kick dead earlier, and I feel sure that, well, it certainly looked from our angle anyway, but that the Huddersfield player had put the ball dead, but the referee a lot nearer the action when we are. Meanwhile, play back inside the Keighley half there. Flanagan waiting at acting half as Blacker gets to his feet. Fullback Lawrence brought on there by Davis.
Webster playing!
And the switch back inside there from Huddersfield coming to naught as the Keighley defence clamps on that player with the ball. Blacker at acting half-back, gets the ball onto Flanagan. Flanagan finds a man outside and immediately finishes up back on the end of the ball. And that's Blacker again, gets the ball out to Flanagan. Flanagan, a little bit of quick hands there, but it was between Blacker and Flanagan basically, and just pushing forward by the rest of the Huddersfield players. But now they've got something set there, but the ball going dead from that kick. Tap on the 20, just a little bit too extra weight there by Pusel. 34 minutes on this running clock in the first half. Kevin Marr driving upfield, and it's been so far in this half a good performance by Keighley as Andy Ayres almost saw the gap, but he put Brooke Cowden in. Brooke Cowden's got the ball, lovely ball out to Martin Wood, but Martin Wood unable to get away, and is again I think possibly trying to milk the penalty there as Ayres gets the ball out to Gately. The big fella sets off on a run inside the Huddersfield 20. Gets up, plays the ball, Butterfield onto Stevenson. Stevenson finds race, but the winger not able to secure that ball, and Huddersfield gratefully once more dropping on it. Halliwell going along, clears the 20-metre line before being brought to ground. Huddersfield again running forward into that mighty wall of the three Keighley defenders there, Hall, Gately and Hill. Flanagan onto King, looked a bit forward, a bit of a forward pass from King there, getting away with it though. Plays some 2 or 3 metres from the halfway line as Blacker gets the ball out there to Flanagan. Flanagan well wrapped up there by Mark Brooke-Cowden, the ball spilling out, and Brendan Hill there making his way back to the line, just drops on the ball, and Kevin Marr now launches an attack into the Huddersfield half of the field. Ramshaw onto Ayres. Ayres brings on Hall. Hall takes play back to the right. It's some 8 metres inside the Huddersfield half as Ramshaw for the Cougars brings play up. Martin Wood from Ayres. Martin Wood dithering about, but he releases Ayres, and Ayres puts the kick up for the chase of John Walker. That ball just sneaking into touch, a yard from the touchline, just beating John Walker and the Huddersfield defence into that touchline side. We'll have a scrum then forming 10 metres from the Huddersfield line with their head and feed. And a differential penalty there against Keighley for the ball not being put correctly into the scrum, and that ball swirling its way, almost going back into the field of play. Huddersfield then, shape of Blacker, bringing on, I believe that may be loose forward Greg Pearce. 5 inside the Keighley half as Blacker gets the ball onto Flanagan. Flanagan switches the ball back inside for Senior to come straight, but Senior brought to ground by Ramshaw and Gately, and it's Flanagan onto King. King all the time looking to offload, but the ball being protected, or the arm with the ball being protected there by Martin Wood. And it's Blacker getting the ball again to Flanagan. These two working together. Referee just having a close look there to make sure there was no spare tackle going to be taking place, and the kick's on for the chase.
Put it down.
Oh, and Jeff Butterfield made a mistake, but again the referee penalises Thomas, and I think Thomas can think himself just a bit lucky there, Darrell. The referee penalised him for being inside the 10 and not in an onside position when that ball went, but I think the same as the Keighley decision, I think that was harsh as well.
Yeah, very harsh that, John. But the referee, the rule states if you go inside the 10 of the ball, you know, and if it was inside the 10 before Jeff Butterfield knocked it, so penalty. Very harsh.
That's 2 harsh decisions, 1 each. As Gately now charges upfield, 30 metres out, struggles to get to his feet. Ramshaw onto Ayres. Ayres sees the gap, goes for the gap. He's got Ramshaw with him. He's run out to support those, Jason. in the centre of the field there. He knew he couldn't go the length, he was looking for support, and just a bit of slack play there by Keighley because there was nobody acting half, but Martin Wood puts the ball through for the chase. The full-back, oh, panic! Oh, the try! Oh, what a panic there by Jason Lawrence. What a mistake the full-back made, and how positive Martin Wood was with that kick and the follow-up.
Yeah, he followed the chase up. The full-back had the ball covered, but he slipped at the last second, and because Martin kept on going, chased the lost cause, became a winner. Excellent try.
And I think the Huddersfield player there just complaining to the touch judge at the bottom end of the field about the offside decision being made, which they, I think, will probably read as having cost them a try, not only on their side but against them as well. That try coming right in the right time as far as Keighley were concerned. 39 minutes on the running clock in this first half. Remember, they've played up this slope here in the first half. 40 minutes downhill to come. John Walker then, he'll be about 15 metres or so to the left hand side of the uprights, searching for his second goal of the evening. And there it goes through the post. 12 points to 0 the scoreline reads, as Johnny Walker converts his second try. That one about, but Huddersfield standing still here as though, I don't know what they're waiting for. They're waiting for the kick-off obviously, but they've been standing like that now for quite some time, Darrell.
Yeah, I think they're a bit sick, John. I think they'd have been open to turn round in front. If only a few points in front, but to turn round behind with the slope ahead of them, you know, I think they're a bit sick. The main thing is they haven't got hold of Martin Wood's kicks. The fullbacks panicked every time they've kicked, and Keighley's defended exceptionally well today. We've just got to keep it going now. No panic, just keep playing football.
Well, we'll see what happens then as the second phase of this game gets underway. Mr. Atkin from Hull checks with his touch judges. Martin Wood puts the ball deep into the bottom corner. It lands and dies, and it's Ian Thomas got the difficult task of trying to break his way through those approaching Keighley forwards, and I feel sure that Keighley's will be wanting to keep Huddersfield penned into this half of the field, but looks as though they've just conceded a penalty here. Wait to see what the signal is. Foot laying on. Well, certainly Mr. Atkins started off in this vein in the first half, and he's continued in the second half, but that was a bad kick there. John Walker taking it on the full, on the touchline side, struggles away from the tacklers. He's still going across the field, offloads to Ayers. Ayers finds Stevenson, but Stevenson's wrapped up eventually, is he? Yes, on the 20-metre line, combination with Helliwell, and it's Hall now coming down this side into the 20-metre area of Huddersfield, back to the place where they conceded the penalty, as Ramshaw, equidistant from the try line, that is, as Martin Wood delays that pass over to Brooke Cowden. He offloads to Butterfield. Jeff Butterfield losing his footing as he tries to run sideways through that hole, and Mark Brooke Cowden fall into the tackle. Ball eventually gets into play as Ayers runs round with Ramshaw. Ramshaw decides to offload. Oh, Ian Gately held inches short. Martin Wood is in plenty of space here if the ball comes quickly to him. Oh, Gately kicks it through, clears the ruck, but the referee says no. In fact, he's saying it's a handover, but Darrell, he kicked that ball clear, didn't he?
I don't know, John, to tell you the truth. I was just trying to see what Jason were doing and Marty, because they were both set. That I thought Keith would have been better going for the drop goal myself.
Well, Gately certainly saw there was a hole there for him. He kicked the ball what looked to be clear of the ruck. Brendan Hill launching himself in the tackle there, and another tackle there by Hill, assisted by Ramshaw on the approaching Andy Pusel, and Blacker through to Flanagan. Flanagan gets the ball on there to fullback Lawrence, and Blacker at acting half-back. Switches play, looked a bit like Davis there. There's plenty of numbers on this side of Huddersfield, but they were crowding themselves into the touchline. It's the last tackle coming up now, and the kick comes in eventually in search of this touchline. Well taken there by fullback Butterfield. Play waved off there, and Helliwell, I think, doing the tackling. No, that's not Helliwell, that's Blacker. And this is Wayne Race coming through the centre of the field for Keighley. 8 or 9 metres from the halfway line. Ramshaw onto Ayres. Ayres, long ball out there, finds Mark Brook Cowden. The loose forward breaks through the halfway line, gets the ball back to Ayres, but Ayres falls to the tackle of Ian Thomas just inside the Huddersfield half of the field. Carlton Farrell managing to offload there. Big fella Gately goes through the centre of the park, but brought to ground 10 metres inside the Huddersfield half. Martin Wood going on his own from acting half-back. Almost falls to the tackle of Blacker, but manages to get the ball away to the supporting Andy Ayres. The last tackle comes up in that morass of mud in the centre of the field. Jason Ramshaw sets for a drop and gets it. That's a good point for Keighley, Darrell. That's 13 on the board. It's 3 scores now that Huddersfield need, but that was a tremendous drop goal there in the right stage of the game.
Certainly was, and that's what we're looking for the last time Keighley were down there. The drop goal. Mate, like you say, Huddersfield are now to score 3 times, you know, and at the moment they don't look like scoring once.
Play just held up here while Brendan Hill adjusts his footwear. That drop goal coming then 4 minutes into the second half. Hill just regains his position, and the referee restarts the clock. Halliwell, right boot upfield, trapped by Kevin Marr. Jeff Butterfield, I beg your pardon, John Walker picking up the ball, gets almost back to the 20-metre line before being tackled. Ramshaw acting half. Carlton Farrell looks to get away, but the second rower there, Gary Senior, rather than tackling, decides that he's going to try and barge the man to the ground. And I think Carlton Farrell complaining there that he was being held down. Martin Wood offloads after that pass from Gately, and Ayres is through the hole. Feeds onto Ramshaw. Oh, and Ramshaw taken round the top there by Helliwell. No question about it, but the referee allows play to continue. Martin Wood now onto Brendan Hill. Brendan Hill looking for the offload to his right. Offloads it there, and it's a double knock-on. Certainly a double knock-on there, but in fact a penalty for pinching the ball by Martin Wood, but certainly 2 knock-ons there, Darrell, that the referees failed to spot.
Yeah, it's missed the second one there. Had I missed it, I thought, well, let's not have a scrum, let's keep the game going.
Huddersfield then coming back towards the halfway line, into the Keighley half. Big tackle again there by Brendan Hill on the number 12 Martin Maiders, and Blacker not able to get away from the clutches of Mark Brook Cowden either. Flanagan brings on bringing on Brad Davis there, and Helliwell eventually continuing the move into the centre of the park now. Andy Pusel right on the Keighley 20-metre line. It's the last tackle, and it's about almost immediately in front of the post. Play being switched, the kick going up for the chase. Jeff Butterfield underneath it, and in fact there's a try there.
Yes,
well, Jeff Butterfield being I think it was a fair ball, that, Darrell, in fairness, wasn't it? He did, the man who took the ball was the man who kicked it. Just a little bit wondering, in fact, whether he took the man before the ball, but I don't think so. It was a hassle, and nonetheless good following up by Huddersfield. Scrum half to score.
Excellent following up there, John, but Keighley with a little bit of sleep. They should have had more men round, giving Jeff a bit of support, you know, and like they said, the ball came loose, and there was nobody there to lay a hand on the scrum half.
Greg Pearce then looking to put the extra 2 on the board for Huddersfield to get them 6 on in reply to Keighley's 13. That try coming on 7 minutes into the second half. Side-footed through the post then by Greg Pearce.
Come on, lads, come on! Let's go again!
And certainly a good start as far as Huddersfield were concerned. I think that's the tonic they needed after going in at half-time 12 points in arrears. Martin Wood then kicks the ball deep into the Huddersfield territory. And they're following up, doing the tackling there and driving that Huddersfield player back towards his own try line. Almost away from those tacklers, but not able to get away from Kevin Moore as the ball coming across quickly. King bursting through, looking to offload, looking for the support, unable to find it, has to take the tackle just outside his own 20.
There.
Davis finds the hole there, but the ball going to ground. Steve Hall regathering for Keighley. Brad Davis certainly found the hole in the Keighley defence there as Carlton Farrell goes on his own from the acting half, strides out of the first tackle, steps into the Huddersfield 20-metre area. Ramshaw, Stevie Hall hitting the gap there between the scrum half and the defender with the clean shorts, second rower Martin Maiders. And in fact, Jason Ramshaw scooting over from acting half back. A tremendous try there from Jason, because I think we've actually criticised Jason for doing that before, but there was a gap there for the little hooker. He found it and he scored the try, Donald.
Yeah, like you said, John, we've criticised him in the past. We should have criticised him again, really. You know, I think there were gaps out wide, but when they score, there's not a right lot you can say. But good try. It was made, really, by Steve Hall diving and looks ball, and Carlton seeing the gap up the middle. Huddersfield were backpedaling all the way, you know, and then when Steve drove on again, played the ball quickly, Jason found him. Huddersfield still backpedaling. Good try.
And there's certainly a post-mortem going on behind those Huddersfield posts at the moment, obviously deciding who was the man who was missing there and left the gap. They can think all alike and talk all alike. Unfortunately, it won't make any difference, because those 4 points are back on the board for Keighley, and what a perfect reply to that Huddersfield try.
He gets this as well. Three tries up there with only one behind me. I would have said that last time, nice goal.
Johnny Walker settles himself as a crowd hush.
No.
Oh, and it's just going to the left, so having to be satisfied with those 4 points, but Keighley re-established that gap between the two sides. Call line now reading Keighley 17, Huddersfield 6. That try coming then just short of 10 minutes into the second half as Helliwell gets play underway once more.
Excellent.
Good run out there, in fact offloaded in the tacklers. Ramshaw sets it up again. Oh, and that's a bad mistake, but it's back to one. The Huddersfield player knocking the ball forward. The referee, Mr. Atkin, wipes the slate clean, and certainly a bit of laying on going on again there, but the ball coming out this time to Brendan Hill, the big number 8, hanging on for dear life there as the Huddersfield players wrestle him to the ground. And really, two players the sizes of Blacker and Helliwell shouldn't be having to tackle a fella of that side. Referee says that was on the chest. Steve Hall didn't think so. And it looked as though it might have been that man number 10, Andy Pusil, once more. And Steve Hall certainly feeling the effects of that tackle as Martin Wood looks to skip through the hole. He too will have to satisfy with being tackled just inside the Huddersfield half of the field. Ramshaw onto Gately. Gately strides, offloads, but it's a bad one this time. Straight into the waiting arms of Ian Lawrence, and Mr. Atkin penalising Keighley for laying on again. And that free kick then to penalty rather to Huddersfield coming just 10 metres inside their own half of the field. Play will restart a couple of metres inside the Keighley half. And that player there just running straight upwards, never even dipped himself into the tackle. A dangerous tactic as far as a player concerned. That could well receive an injury. Flanagan run round again. Flanagan, as he goes round the back, tries to use the player to get away from the Keighley tacklers, but the Keighley chasers doing well there, as King now comes up this short side, runs at Stevenson and goes down. Well tackled, a combination there by Phil Stevenson and Martin Wood. Flanagan gets the ball across to Davis. Davis shows it, just once too many times those. Brendan Hill refused to take the dummy, and the ball out to Blacker. It's the last tackle coming up. Pearce going to put the ball for the chase, and he must be offside, but he wasn't this time, the referee said, and certainly I would have said definitely, certainly from the angle, that Ian Thomas was in front of the kicker then, Darryl.
Certainly looked it, John, yeah. Ball offside and the other two that scored.
Play then just inside the Keighley 20-metre line as Ramshaw gets the ball onto Hall again. Recovered from that crack around the, we have to say, the upper body area, because it wasn't penalised, as Ayres now finds Wood. Wood puts Brooke Cowden into the hole. Phil Helliwell though saw what was happening there, and again it's him and Blacker who do the tackling on the Keighley loose forward this time. Gately switches the ball to Hall. Hall drives into the opposition half of the field. Brought down to ground there by Maders and goes down again, and Martin Wood pumps the ball up into the air. It's a good one, and it's tackled by the kicker. Well taken there by the Keighley defender, the Keighley fullback. And in fact, Martin Wood being called out here. Peugeot 205 L785 OUP. Thank you. We wait to see what the penalty is going to be given for. Birthday, Green Gables, Coombe Corner Club, happy 68th birthday. Andy Pusel, it looks as though he's going to be substituted on the far side of the field. Jonah Doley, the man who will be coming on, I think. We'd like to thank our sponsors today. That's the match sponsors. Pusel going off, Nadoli coming on. Also match sponsors, Silent Night Cabinets. Liverpool sponsors, Backyard Raising Consultants. Thank you everyone there, and not forgetting our main sponsors. Use of the elbow signal there by Mr. Atkin.
It took a long time to blow it, it was running out of way.
And that ball into touch, some 10 metres inside the Keighley half of the field. Huddersfield now looking to launch an attack into this Keighley try area as King goes in. The ball not played there at all, and I think the camera will have picked it up as Blacker gets the ball across now, and Hall doing the tackling on Maders there as he bursts forward looking for the 20-metre line. Flanagan onto Pearce. Pearce running round in circles. Blacker, Flanagan, King, Davis steps through, but and certainly looking for Nadoli there, the guy coming on, normally a second rower, looks as though he's going to be a wide runner, and the chip through there for the chase, well picked up and offloaded, and good hands there, but the sticky bit there in the centre just catching Huddersfield by unawares, but they got the numbers here as Pearce switches the play back inside again onto Blacker, but Blacker kicks the ball away. It's football time for Huddersfield over the far side. Nadoli's still going up that side. Keighley need to tackle him into touch if they can, but it's the last tackle. Good scrambling defence there, Darryl, by Keighley.
Yeah, excellent defence there. Huddersfield added sixes and sevens, and Huddersfield played ball well. They were offloading in the tackle exceptionally well there, put Keighley under a tremendous amount of pressure.
But we have to say that scrambling defence of Keighley worked very well there under the circumstances of that not really knowing where that ball was going. I think principally because Huddersfield didn't really know either. As Steve Hall bursts out, and Wayne Race does well to take that ball. He's going away from his support, and in fact is put down just inside the Huddersfield half of the field. Ramshaw on to Marr. Marr going, long ball out to Brooke Cowden. Brooke Cowden switches back inside to Stevenson. But the remnants of the Huddersfield defence coming back across there and just catching Phil Stevenson before he could turn and move, as Andy Ayres now onto Ramshaw. Long ball out to Wood. Wood finds Brendan Hill on the far side. It's a nice ball to Farrell. Carlton Farrell's going on. He can't just get away for a good tackle there by Huddersfield on that side. As John Walker goes in, but inches short. Last tackle once more coming up as play's gone from one end of the field to the other. Martin Wood puts a chip through there, but Huddersfield straight into the arms of that Huddersfield player. And a tremendous amount of pressure, but that play taking that set of six going from one end of the field to the other. Nadoli looking to kick through and not really helping his own cause there. Kevin Marr taking the ball on. Offloads there to Carlton Farrell. Might have done better to settle for the tackle. But it's Farrell now for Keighley, 10 metres out from the Huddersfield line. Steve Hall in an acting half-back. He's going to just try and drive his way a little bit closer to that line. And it's Hall gets up and plays the ball. Ramshaw, Ayres brings on Gately. Gately drives through the middle but looks to offload but can't manage it. Can he get a take on? And it was a forward pass. It certainly looked as though Andy Ayres was going to go and score there, but the pass forward, says Mr. Atkin.
Come on, keep him under. Keep him under.
And this scrum forming 10 metres out from the Huddersfield line. Flanagan feeds the scrum out the back. Fullback Lawrence just looking for a way through, but there's no exit from that 10 metre area for him this time. Gets up, plays the ball, it sticks in the mud there as Blacker gets it onto Nadoli, but Nadoli has a feel for the combination of the sand and the mud over that side of the field. King now bursting away, looking to get away from the Keighley tacklers, still can't make very much progress forward. Through the centre of the park, this time second row Maiders coming in, 30 metres out. And it's coming out wide this time, stepping back inside, feeds Nadoli, but Nadoli takes his eyes off the ball. Brendan Hill says, thank you very much, I'll have that one. And that tackle not counting at that point. There's sorts of things to get this attack going as Pearce now comes back through the centre of the field, but brought down just inside the Keighley half of the field. Blacker at acting half-back, brings on King. King looking to just, well, he was looking for the support. He got the support away to the supporting Blacker, but Blacker brought down on the Keighley 20 metre line by Ayres. Nadoli acting half-back this time. Davis on to Flanagan. Flanagan out the far side to Pearce. Pearce puts the kick through for the chase. It's a good chase, it's a good kick, but it's a good kick into the crowd there by John Walker to lift that pressure off Keighley. We've got a restart under the post with the dropout, and I think Huddersfield just starting to tick a little bit again, Darryl.
They certainly are, John. They're playing the best football they've played all night. You know, Keighley's got another 19 minutes or so to hold out and get back. You know, just got to keep this defence going, and when we get down there, take up points if we have to.
Just to remind you the score lines, Reading Keighley 6-17, Huddersfield 6, and that ball straight down the throat of Pearce as he takes play back into the Keighley 20. Slowly to his feet there as the ball comes out to King. He switches back inside to Davis. Davis runs across the face, evading the tacklers as he goes. Still evading. Oh, a mile forward that pass, referee, but never seen. Certainly a mile forward. The line there clear to indicate. Senior there looking. Eventually the ball offloaded back into Pearce. Pearce doesn't really know, he needs to be put down on the deck, not allowed to just jiggle about like that. The playing out this side, well tackled there on Helliwell by Stevenson. As play coming back, King now, Nadoli on his outside, offloads to Blacker. Blacker well met though there by Stevenson, and certainly the ticking of Huddersfield at this moment as Flanagan now tries to work the magic in the centre of the park. Pearce found the ball and still being allowed to offload as Flanagan goes outside. Thomas is with him, but he can't release the ball. This is the last tackle of what seems an interminable piece of defence by Keighley. Pearce going for the line, but the ball being lost and regathered by Keighley, by Jeff Butterfield. And it's Martin Wood now looking to get away, but that ball looked as though it was stripped out. That ball going backwards, I would have said, could easily have been stripped, Darrell.
Certainly looked it, John, from here, but the referee's a lot closer than us. Martin ought to know better, really. We should have kept it tight there. Brendan going off.
Yeah, the first tackle. Brendan Hill coming off, Andy Stevenson coming in. It's Phil Stevenson will be going into the pack to take his place, or I should say Steve Hall moving up front, and Phil going into the second row, and Andy Stevenson going into the centre place just vacated by his brother. And certainly a lot of pressure now that Keighley have got to absorb. There's 24 on the clock as that ball comes out to Huddersfield. It's Pearce moving away from the scrum, almost tackled into touch as he went. Gets up and plays the ball quickly as the ball comes across this park for Huddersfield, but caught in possession there, just inside, and Keighley desperately defending, and the ball being lost. The referee says play on. Well, that again, I don't think the referee saw what happened, and I'm sure that the touch just didn't. But that ball strangely coming away, and the referee pulling out a Huddersfield player. He's obviously said something. He's getting 10 minutes for talking. That's Blacker. And that does Huddersfield cause no good at all, because Blacker and Flanagan have certainly been operating well together.
Certainly have, John. Blacker, Flanagan and the standoff Davis have been taking Keighley apart. It's only been last minute defence by Keighley that's kept him out. So Keighley, with a bit of luck now, should settle down, get the composure back. By the time Blacker comes back on, there'll only be 5 minutes left.
Martin Wood then puts that ball safely into touch, 30 metres out from that Huddersfield line. Ramshaw, Gately going down like a train, busts into the 20-metre area. Ramshaw gets the ball from acting half, brings on Hall. Hall goes into the tackle, bounces back and goes back for another dose. Gets up and plays the ball. Ramshaw onto Ayres, runs round with Ramshaw. Marr gets the ball out to Stevenson, looks to offload inside. Phil Stevenson though going to have to take that tackle, 5 metres short from the line. Nothing silly, set it up Keighley as Mark Brook-Cowden steps inside the first tackler. Kevin Marr looks for a hole through, but there's no way through in this corner for him.
Find Ayres with it and dummy Stevenson.
Stevenson at acting half, but gets the ball onto Ayres. Ayres finds Wood. Wood goes for the dummy, offloads to Stevie Hall, and he's got a free one to the line. Well, Huddersfield absolutely asleep.
Jason Ramshaw fighting.
Huddersfield, I think quite honestly, they were waiting for the referee to blow the whistle for something, but the ball was put backwards. Steve Hall just couldn't believe his eyes.
No, my Wood there passed, but I think they were chasing penalty because Ian Gately were tackled without the ball. Everybody stopped, you know, and the ball come this way. Huddersfield were going out to the far side. Steve picked it up, saw a gap, he couldn't believe it.
It was a gap as wide as the M62 was out, that's for sure. That try then for Steve Hall coming 26 minutes into the game, and I think Jason Ramshaw just having a word with the referee about it, but about Ian Gately being taken off the ball. But I think least said, best said, and let's just get on with the ball because the 4 points are on Keighley's scoreboard.
Because he's up here.
Why is he taking it so far?
John Walker then putting that ball down, what seems to be rather a long way back for a not a difficult kick, making it less easy for himself. The crowd hushes then, and through the middle. He knew exactly where he wanted that ball. I certainly thought he'd have had it a bit closer to the kick, to the goal post, but not so. He was confident in his own ability, and that's another 2 on the scoreboard for Keighley. 23 points to 6 the scoreline now reads, And I think really that try coming as a direct result, Darrell, of that rather stupid word to the referee by Blacker.
Well, it came from the ball coming loose up there. Kevin Marr picking up and running, and then Blacker, like an idiot, like he said, opened his mouth and put all his side under a lot of pressure. Keighley scored from it.
Carlton Farrell coming back, taking that ball from the restart, this time on his own 20, getting almost to the 30-metre line before being tackled as Ramshaw gets the ball out to Kevin Marr on that far side. The number 12 for Keighley gets up, plays the ball onto Ayres. Ayres switches play inside to Stevenson. Stevenson goes through the centre, took a crack around the head, but certainly didn't affect his progress forward as Ramshaw looks for the man coming. It's Stevie Hall. Steve Hall tackled by Nadoli, 30 metres out, tightly hangs onto that ball. Phil Helliwell looking for the offload, it didn't come though, as Ramshaw through the hands of Ayres onto Wood, back to Ayres. Kevin Marr going through but unable to get it away, but he still manages to release the ball to Ayres. Back this time to Stevenson. Martin Wood wrapped up in the centre, but no, at a second attempt he was wrapped up there in the centre, and Keighley tried desperately to get up and play the ball quickly, and Ramshaw goes for the drop goal attempt, but just going wide this time.
Reset! 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 Clear!
Huddersfield then now looking to get back towards the halfway line as they struggle up this Cougar Park slope. Nadoli turns in the tackle, offloads to Helliwell. Helliwell goes for the gap, doesn't find, well, he found the first gap, but he didn't get through the second one as a result. Couple of metres inside the Huddersfield half play still as Flanagan gets the ball onto Davis. Davis switches back inside, the full back in the line, but unable to get that ball away or release or get away from the tackle. Steenia going through. Releases that ball back to Lawrence again. Lawrence offloads, it's knocked down to the ground there, I think by a Keighley hand. Yes, the referee wipes the slate clean. We've had 30 minutes in this second half as Huddersfield now go on. Player going on his own there. Gately caught one in the tackle. The player coming down across the field now, missing out Pearce, brings on King. King looks, he has Nadoli in support, but decided that he was going to take the ball on. He can't play the ball to yourself there. No way can you play the ball to yourself there. There was a marker. What a disgraceful decision by Mr. Atkin.
Enough said, John.
I think the hush in the crowd says it all. Even the Huddersfield supporters didn't cheer. What an appalling decision, or lack of decision, by that man in blue. And I think he knows it as well. He certainly will when he sees the tape. No need for further words, I don't think. Well, Greg Pearce tries to convert that unbelievable try for Huddersfield. And he misses. Well, at least there is justice in this world somewhere.
We'd like to thank today's match sponsors, Keighley and Linton Limited. Directors are...
Referee just stops the clock once more as a double substitution going on, I think, for Keighley. Brendan Hill coming back on with Joe Burry and Mark Brooke-Cowden and Ian Keighley going off.
Substitutions, off comes Mark Brooke-Cowden and Ian Keighley, who's worked very, very hard. Pair of them, tremendous lads, well done. And on comes Big Brendan and Joe Burry. Related to Big Burry of Hartford.
And what? Martin Wood then gets play back underway as we just wonder who the man of the match might go to today. Darrell, you were right on Sunday.
I'll be wrong tonight then, John. But I think if Steve Hall got it, I can't see there being many complaints. Ian Gately's had a good game again tonight. Martin Wood's had an excellent game, certainly with his up and unders. But overall, I think Steve Hall's just pinched it.
Well, we'll see if the people up there agree with you, as King now busts out of his own 20-metre line. Struggles to his feet, and the ball eventually through the hands of Pearce, on through Flanagan, Davis, and I think really a feature of the game has been the lacklustre display, or the lack of being able to perform of Davis, and the way in which Keighley have actually oh, and that's a knock on, and the way in which in fact Keighley have snubbed him out really in the game.
Yeah, they did, John. Huddersfield just played good football for that 10 minutes before they were simming in. You know, they put Keighley on the back really. Fortunately Keighley managed to hold out virtually without leaking at all.
Kevin Marr then going down this touchline side, and yes, Brad Davis really been made ineffective by the Keighley defence. They've marshalled him well, and this is Bury. Bury made a good break, you remember, on Sunday through the centre of the defence, similar position at Backley to set up that Kevin Marr try. Now as Ayres goes down, Stevenson just stopped halfway through there. Andy Stevenson, as the ball goes out, Brendan Hill on the far side on the charge, tries to stay in field as the Huddersfield defence try to take him out over that touchline side. It's the last tackle. In fact, the ball's been lost, and Brendan Hill driving the man who the receiver there back towards his own try line. The referee's just having a look to see what's happening underneath there, telling the man to get up and play the ball. Looks like Thomas. 3 tackles there, that's the second tackle. This is the third coming up as King tries to get yardage away, and he does get good yardage away from that danger area for Huddersfield. 35 minutes on the clock then. Blacker could well be coming back on. Oh, and a basic mistake there. No pressure on Huddersfield whatever, as Martin Wood skips away from the tackler. Oh, and what a position to put a ball down, as Steve Hall goes on his own and scores! Oh, what a try! That's Stevie Hall's hat-trick. I don't think he's ever scored a hat-trick before in his career, either at amateur level or professional, and what a day to score it against the contenders for the championship title, Huddersfield.
Excellent tie, John, again. Saw the defence, Martin Wood picked the loose ball up, had Huddersfield back pedalling, quick play the ball. Like I said, Martin's had an excellent game. Steve Hall wide awake, realised Huddersfield were back pedalling, picked it up and drove over. Good try.
Certainly was indeed. And I think as far as Huddersfield are concerned, they will be now just thinking how much longer before that final whistle goes and we can go back to the dressing rooms and see what goes. But I think in all fairness, we've really got to look at a joint man of the match tonight. It's really got to be shared between Martin Wood and Steve Hall. We can't say any other.
Well, I can really, John. It's got to be shared between all 15. They've all done excellent tackling. They've backed each other up exceptionally well. This has been one of the Keighley's better displays. Certainly the best this season, I should think. You know, they've played as a team. Excellent display.
Yes, I quite agree with that, as Johnny Walker then adds the extras and the points go on the board, and a comprehensive victory for Keighley, and there's still about 3 minutes of running time left plus stoppages.
Johnny Walker. We're waiting for the man of the match. We don't know who it is yet.
Blacker then back on the field. He's served his 10 minutes for the indiscretions in the sin bin.
Yes, you guessed it, it's Stevie Hall!
Who'd have guessed?
Hat-trick boy.
Kevin Marr then takes that ball on the full, and certainly concur with what Darrell said there about every single player on the Keighley side put 110% in. They knew it was a big game, and I think anybody would agree that they've completely outplayed Huddersfield today. Ayres then offers the ball to Joe Burry. I think perhaps he might have given him it on that occasion because the support coming for the run across wasn't there. And Ramshaw now switching play to Martin Wood. Wood chips it over the top. He's going for the chase himself. It bounces kindly. Big Brendan! Big Brendan! Oh, and he falls on the sand. He slipped on the beach. The ball there's loose and Martin Wood's in. And there's been some slack defence round that play the ball for Huddersfield tonight, and it's cost them points, and it's cost them dearly. But what a barging run there by Brendan Hill. Unfortunately not be able to keep his footing long enough to go across the try line. And I think he's just a bit upset about something as well that probably happened to him when he was down.
Number 6.
And again, as you so rightly remarked, Darrell, the creator, Martin Wood once more.
We think it was Jason Ramshaw that scored that one. It's Jason Byrne.
Martin.
It was Woody.
Surprised you can't tell them apart there. It's probably all Martin's hair that's got him beat. Looks like a scrum cap.
Johnny Walker then looking once more to add the extras and duly obliges.
Johnny Walker! And Martin Wood is looking good, his old Martin boy, doing well. Johnny Walker. Cougar goal number 6. 4 and 5.
And the referee just going to have a word now, I think, with Brendan Hill for whatever went on. Certainly Brendan's not happy, and his referee, Mr. Atkin, I think quite wisely, just telling him to ease off. The game's nearly over. We're into stoppage time. And the referee also just having a word with Phil Halliwell for the same reason, I suspect. Halliwell pumps that ball downfield, down the throat there of
5, 10. Goal is good, crackers.
and certainly King, I think, gone crackers there on Carlton Farrell. I don't think there was any real reason for that. There was no need for it, that's for sure. And I don't think we need to see players doing that. We certainly don't want to see anybody going off in this late stage of the game, Darrell, do we?
No, not sent off anyway, but it was stupid there. I don't know what they're having 4 or 5 free swings at Carlton. What happened down there, I don't know. Carlton weren't involved in that down there on the try line, so why they should take it out on Carlton up here, I don't know. Just being an idiot.
Indeed, and Mr. Atkin just going to give the penalty for that punch. The scoreline now reading 35 points to 10 in Keighley's favour. We've had 6 tries. We've had 5 Johnny Walker goals. The Keighley tries, 3 of course to man of the match Steve Hall, a couple to Martin Wood and 1 to Jason Ramshaw. 6 of those goals, as I said, plus 1 drop goal to Jason Ramshaw. As Brendan Hill gets into the opposition half, but it's all over. It's academic, but what a result for Keighley. The final score then, Keighley Cougars 35, Huddersfield 10. And certainly the crowd of 5,200 plus tonight have certainly had value for money, no doubt about it. A good workout for the game at Dewsbury next week, and certainly a good one for the Cup against Castleford. We'll be there, we hope you can join us.